Morning. It's Wednesday. Feels right. And I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about fear. Our culture has such a weird relationship to fear. It's always demonized. We always admire people who seem like they're just not afraid of anything. I've thought a lot about fear ever since I started having like legit stuff to be afraid of. I think before it felt kind of abstract. And then I was like, oh no, that. Yeah. My son growing up without a mom, like you kind of get down to like the bedrock of things. I just ended up thinking a lot about, then I started thinking about like kinds of fear. Is it all just, is fear all the same? Are there any gifts in fear? Or is it just all sort of just deeply unpleasant? So I did an interview with this absolutely delightful expert in fear. He's a psychologist, Dr. Ken Carter. And anyway, we had this great podcast conversation about the nature of fear and whether or not he had done this like a series of interviews where he was talking to people who appeared to just have no fear at all, like they were always like base jumping off of something, or and so he became very curious. He's like a very sweet, mild-mannered, safety first kind of guy. And so we had this great conversation where it just kind of made me realize part of what he was learning from being curious about fear was that one, people don't experience fear the same at all. You know, people who jump off bridges apparently feel an intense sense of calm. I would not feel an intense sense of calm. But that there's so many different languages of fear, but that like in there somewhere is like a little, it like shines a little flashlight on that what it is that we're afraid of tells us a little something about what we love, what we can't live without, what we absolutely treasure. And I know this pandemic has been an exercise in extended fear. Fear of the unseen, fear of invisible causality that takes our lives apart. Lent is also a story about, Jesus isn't embarrassed to say that he is scared about his own death. Fear is not the problem. People who seem to live without fear are not the people I should be like admiring. They seem great. But just to have a minute there to say like, what does it tell me about what I treasure? And how do I live not without fear, because the world is full of things to be afraid of, but how do I live alongside it? How do I let it show me what I really love? So yeah, anyway, just trying to sit there a little bit more without always assuming that like every unpleasant emotion is actually just something I'm supposed to get over. I probably won't. I hope you have a beautiful, terrible Wednesday in which your fear, like all other things about you, get held up to the light and show you a little something about what you love.